Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, the Tenverse Show. So today's video is on the topic of time management and how important the time management is. So it's all about the learning. It's all about the experience till date that I have experienced and till date that I have learned, and so I'm here to I'll try my best to simplify the concept of like how time is important to us and how we can use them effectively. So yeah, so we can divide our time into three different categories. So first is time is an allocation, and time is an energy, and third is a time is a money. So first concept is a time is an allocation. So well, let's first for this let's take an example. So every 12 a.m. in the morning, we are pocketed with 24 hours and 86,400 second and 1400 minutes. So it's on us, and as an individual, like how we use the this time. So let's first allocate the time. So we have 24 hours. From this, uh on an average a human, adults, we sleep for 8 hours. So 8 hours, so let's separate this. So in for 24 hours minus 8 hours is equals to 16 hours that we have. So like we should, we should not, and we should not compromise to the sleep, because sleep is the utmost, I think it's one of the most important things. I have met some people who says that sleeping is good, but still, uh it really, feels like you are just being unproductive, or you're just sleeping. You doesn't, so what they feel is like it's not good. But as far as I'm concerned, I think sleep is one of the most important. How productive, you have your day is depends on how how well you slept. So I think we should not compromise with the sleep. Sleep is, I feel it at, is at most, right? So on an average we sleep 8 hours, so of course we should. And so now we have in our hands 24 hours minus 8 hours, that is 16 hours in our hands. So how we can allocate it, as far as I'm concerned, like, let's take an example from, for myself as well. For me, when I used to wake up, I used to, go brush. So it takes an like half an hour, and like, get ready everything. So and I, do an hour, 1 hour reading every single day. And I think this is this is one of the best habits that I've, made, and this is one of the best investment of my time. So I used to read every book, right? So and I've been reading the 7 habits of highly effective people right now, so I'm in the middle. So I think reading is important. And after that, I used to meditate for 30 minutes. It's been like more than 2 years now, and I've been doing continuously meditation. I do it for 30 minutes, and then what I used to do is like I used to go for a breakfast, and like this is thought. And after that, what I used to do is like 1 hour for my podcast. What I feel is this, in 21st century, the best way to learn is not just, from reading. And I think one of the best is also a podcast, listening to podcast. So I make sure that used to listen 1 hour of podcast every day, and I do that, diligently. Sometimes I even cross 1 hour. Sometimes I used to listen for 2, 3, 4, 5. I think is, it's the max. I used to listen podcast when I'm traveling. I don't used to waste my time. I used to like like hear the podcast, and I think this is one of the best as well. So I think in, on total, I think it's more than like a 3 hours is gone on this. For me, this 3 hours is gone. So right now I'm with, 16 hours minus 3 hours, that is around like you are again with the like 13 more hours. So for that 13 hours, what I used to do is like 13 hour, let's take 1 hour for lunch, 1 hour for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So like you are with 10 hours. Now this 10 is defined, it will define who you are, like what you do in that 10 hour. For me, I used to read, I used to play, I used to do a lot of things. So I think you should also allocate the time like this. So this is how I allocate my time. So this is the first concept of how you can, you should allocate, and this is how the allocation works. You have to allocate a specific time for this, and this is what happens is like when you allocate the time, you feel like you have to do this and you have to do this. Now it's timetable, it's like a timetable, right? So you have to make a timetable for the for if you want to be a productive. So I think this is one of the best, like to allocate time if you don't have any timetables and if you don't allocate any time. So what happens, what normally happens with me as well, when I used to allocate times, and when I don't used to have a timetable, is that you don't feel like, okay, so what should I do, like what should I do? So it happens that and after few minutes we are on Netflix, right? So I think allocation is the utmost as well. So now let's move to a second concept, that is a time is an energy. So here energy means like it's more like the peak time for you, like so for some people, the peak time in a day for them is like the peak time it is their night. They are they feel that they are the most productive or the brightest hours on the night. So as far as I'm concerned, and like I'm the people who love like reading at more reading and early morning. So I feel this is my peak time early in the mornings. I feel I can grasp, or I can like get the value more by reading in the morning. So I think I'm a morning person. So I think it depends on an individual. There are some people who who feel like who feel like more energized at the night. So yeah, of course you can go ahead and read at night. So this is how. And I think your peak time, you have to align your the most important tasks like reading, writing, and everything at your peak time, right? So and what happens is like this is how it should be. And and like the lowest, the least, the time, I mean like the time when you feel the lowest, for me it's in 1 p.m., 2 p.m., like. So then that time I think you should allocate that on playing, right? So I think this is how you should plan and allocate, and like energized everything in a very smart way. So last but not the least, it's time is a money. Now here money doesn't mean like a money, real money. It means a time is a valuable, it's one of the most valuable. It's really valuable, right? So no one can buy time. Even if you are in Elon Musk, you have, even if you have billions of dollars, or even if you are Bill Gates or anything, you can't buy time. So I think time is a money, is also one of the most important concept. It means how valuable it's, the time is the most precious. One time has gone, once the time has gone, it can't be returned or it can't be back, right? So I think this is how like I perceive it. And I think time is money is also like you shouldn't waste your time. Like let me like give an example. So what is the big differences between the Western culture, that means in America, in Canada, in foreign countries, versus in India, is that in India, in Western cultures, what used to happen is like they used to work and get paid most, and they used to work and get paid in an hour, right? So hourly rate they have, like if you work for like 1 hour, you get like 30-40 bucks, right? So this is how it used to happen. But as far as India is concerned, it isn't, right? So what used to happen is like it's more of like a salary or wages, right? So this is how it is. So we don't value time because we don't know like how important our time is. But as far as the Western culture is concerned, they are earning and everything on like an hour. So they they feel the importance of time. Like they feel like if I waste this time, so that means like this much of amounts is like 20 or 50 bucks is gone, right? So I think this is one of the is one of the key factors as well in like how like the foreign countries and the Western countries are giving importance to time. And we aren't here, we are all like just like gape mare and all. So I have seen a lot of people doing that, they are wasting a lot of time. So this is what I feel like the importance of time. So I think if you have read about like the 7 habit of an highly effective people, there the author talks about like there's a two tasks. That means there's one things which is important for you, and there's another thing, this is in urgent. If one thing is urgent and it's important, do it right now. If it's urgent, If it's not important, you can delegate it. But if it's important but not urgent, then you should do it very well, giving a proper time. And I think, and if it's not urgent, it's not it's not urgent and it's not important as well, that means it's like, watching Netflix and all, so you can do it, but you shouldn't, you should make a proper time, proper time for that as well, like in weekends or everything, it's fine. But not, like, I have seen my friends, like, who used to watch Netflix, who used to play some games all the day, and they are wasting times. And like, I do, tell them that, like, this is not good, but still it depends on an individual. And I think they have a proper reason for that as well, because they have their own career plan. So I think this is how I perceive the time, and I hope you like the video. So if you like it, then subscribe to my channel, and I'll be back with the more like energetic and more like cool topic. So thank you and have a nice day.